When you're out in the mountains scouting out the best place for a shelter, the most important things to consider are the materials around you that you have and the elements, such as the elevation. It's important to know that the air gets way thinner as the higher up you go, and it gets colder as well. Snow and rain are also elements to consider because it's really important that you stay dry. This is important both psychologically and physically. The shelter that I built here is one that could be made when you're 14,000 feet up in the Rocky Mountains. It's called a debris shelter. The debris shelter gets its name from the materials that are used to build it. These materials include lots of sticks and grass that can be gathered nearby. It's important you don't go too far out to gather your materials because you could get lost or injured. The materials that I used start with some much stronger, heavy ones on the bottom, and then it's built all the way up to lighter sticks and grass on the top. The shelter I made is designed for one person. I made it this size for warmth purposes. This has the least amount of airspace to heat. I used grass on the bottom for insulation and built a door in this little valley structure facing away from the wind in order to stay warm. I also have this rock pile to build a fire. Building a fire is crucial when you're out in the mountains surviving. When you're up in the mountains, there's a lack of large wood, so make sure you're collecting lots of small wood so you're able to start a fire, burn it faster, and stay warm. It's really important to insulate the inside of your shelter up in the mountains. To do this, I've used dried grass and dried leaves. So here's the shelter I built for mountain survival. Follow me! When you're up in the mountains, you're probably packing light. So if you think you're in trouble when it comes to starting a fire, you're not. We're going to learn how to do the hand drill. This drill is how to start a fire using friction. What you're going to need is a stick with a point on it. Make sure the point's nice and sharp. You're also going to need a log. So to create the fire, you stick the spiky end of the stick into the log and use your hands just like this, spinning them to create the friction. Then when you see embers, you should blow on it because of the lack of oxygen there are up in the mountains. And finally, when it starts to smoke, be sure to have highly flammable objects like dead grass and leaves. So not only should you be building a shelter to keep you safe, but you also need to keep in the back of your mind for survival that there are wildlife out there. Some parts of the U.S. has grizzly bears and black bears that could harm you. There's also big cats like mountain lions and bobcats. Make sure to watch out for them, keep your food safe, and don't cause too much attention. The mountains can be a dangerous place to be in due to altitude sickness, the thin air, and the wildlife around you. Be sure to stay safe and build a shelter.